What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? It's the Mr. Straight Fact Show. I'm going to get into some topics of today. First, we have to give our sister some love, and that being Miss uh, Roberta Flack. She's gone home at 88. It has been told that she has ALS. They say they don't know or haven't released how she passed away, but being diagnosed with ALS, I had an uncle who passed away with ALS. This happened in the 80s. They've had a lot of breakthroughs since then. They have been able to prolong people's lives uh, with ALS. But I am here to be a witness that ALS is no joke. Not like anybody's laughing. I'm just saying it's a horrible way to go. Um, but I wanted to give our sister some love and thank her. You know, the first time I ever saw your face, um, Killing Me Softly, some of the most well sung and written words to ever to grace a record. And I'm thankful for her. And I got prayers sent out to you and your family and to you going home. Much love to you. And sorry that you had to go. Um, we're going to switch over from this somber moment and go to something else that's not as, I would say, as necessarily sad. But, you know, in different cultures, especially in the black culture, those are going home as a celebration in many ways. But I wanted to actually, if I could, actually give her more love by just actually showing, you know, her face. As I spoke about her, I should have had this up. That's our sister right there who went home, right? And much love to her. I will be playing her music this weekend on my Friday show and giving her much love. All of her songs that I can possibly find. That's how we do over here. And that's on TikTok, actually. Can't do it here on YouTube. They don't allow it. But that's our sister. Rest in peace, Queen. All right. So, what we have next for you, ladies and gentlemen, is uh, another beautiful sister, and she hasn't gone home, but she has been let go from MSNBC. Now, I got a lot of mixed emotions about this. I really do, because this sister is bright, talented, a wonderful human being. I don't know her personally, but just the way she presents herself, she is a wonderful, wonderful person. And one of the only people that I watched on that network. This is going to be, like I said, I keep it straight facts. I used to watch in the early morning uh, uh, the Morning Joe show. You know, kind of set my day off until I realized what kind of people they really were. They're afraid of Donald Trump or any kind of power, so they had to go run and kiss the ring, the foot, or whatever of Donald Trump he asked them to kiss. They kissed it. I stopped watching at that point. I stopped watching a lot of MSNBC, but I really wanted to support our sister. And if she ever gets to see this, love you, sis, for what you do and what I hope you continue to do. She has Read This and Read That on YouTube. She's also at Joyanne, I think, or Joy Reid. Substack.com. So she's going to be all over the place, and wherever you at, I'm going to find you because and follow you and support what you're doing, because we need people who are professional, one, and also those who actually know the truth and are seeking it, not those who are trying to sugarcoat the things that we're going through in this country. So I'm thankful for her and her ability to tell it like it is. I remember she was one of the first people I saw on the news literally reading Project 2025 to everybody. Every day she was bringing out more and more Project 2025. Nobody really was doing that. I know that Rachel Maddow did pieces of it as well, but MSNBC was doing it. CNN and all the others, you know, they bring out a little piece here and there, but she was going like from the rooter to the tutor as much as she could. It was 900 and something pages. And I respect that, because that is something that tells me that you give a damn about this country if you're willing to put in the homework and find out what this country is going to be going through, and not sugarcoat it or go kiss the ring so you can keep your job or whatever it may be. Some of the things that these people have said about her on the air has been wonderful today. I saw when she finally said goodbye today. It was sad. There was a lot of people loving on her, but at the same time, not these people that got on and said they loved her, but the management team. For them to come on the air and say how much they love this woman and how she was an integral part of this fight against this autocracy, this sycophants just believing whatever they're being told without doing the homework, without putting in the homework. I don't see how she and Rachel Maddow were like the first two. I used to watch Rachel Maddow a lot when she had it every day. But she and Rachel Maddow were the ones who gave you like straight, like the facts. They went into it and did homework and found out, oh, this is what's happening. Weren't afraid to tell you the absolute truth. It's just, I heard a few people who have been doing investigative reporting. So you can take that with a grain of salt if you like. But I've seen a few of them come out and say, I think one was on even Don Lemon's show, that she didn't have the right, like, quote unquote, attitude toward it. That right there was just horrific. Now, I love, what Don Lemon is doing over there. That's one thing I didn't necessarily like, is when he let this guy say basically her attitude was not right, meaning like the way she addressed things was a little bit, I guess, more harsh than you would see a Rachel Maddow. So I'm like, so her bringing it to you straight factually is a problem, because the way she brings it to you, so that if you're a thorn in the side of Donald Trump and you say it where he gets his feelings hurt, MSNBC is willing to let you go. That didn't make any sense to me, because who else on that station that gives it to Donald Trump? Even worse, and to say worse, even more so than she does. She goes after the policies. You have people on late at night. The name of the host escapes me at the moment. O'Donnell. He goes for the throat on Donald Trump, calls him names and everything. Yet though he's still on the air, that again is like, wait a minute, black woman holds your feet to the fire with actual facts and says what needs to be said. And what's so weird about this is that the anchors that she had on, or other reporters that had on at the end, cherished her for being her, doing that. But the station has a problem with her being that way. Now, this is according to this guy who had inside information. And he was trying his best to be politically correct. And I'm sick of this politically correct trash, when you guys constantly act like everything's roses and, everything's just perfectly set. And you don't want to any kind of like, angst or anything. You just want to be smooth and just go and be happy type of thing, when this world is going through what it's going through. There's a reason why you have Republicans going to their town halls and going, getting very upset, strongly worded things that they're saying. Recently, I just saw a video, I think it may have been on Joy and Reid show, that there was a white woman being taken out like they used to do black women and black men at Donald Trump's functions. Remember, they used to take them out. Remember, way back in 2016, he was telling people, I'll pay your legal fees if you just hit them in the mouth and things of that nature. When he was saying those things, and those people were very, adamant to like fight somebody or run up on somebody just because they didn't believe in what Donald Trump was saying, you will see that they did that to a white woman recently in the past week. They're actually starting to turn on their own, not allowing them to have their own opinions. They have to have the same as the Trump opinion. But our sister's going to be out there doing her thing. I wanted to give her love for the things that she has been doing and what she will continue to do, because it's in her heart and her spirit. I hope and pray whatever it is that she's seeking, she finds it in abundance. Whether she's trying to do it on her own or she's trying to find another, network to follow, to get into, because these people work for their careers, their entire lives, and become an anchor is the Mount Everest of being in the news industry. You work your way up from being a news or a production assistant, running around giving scripts to everybody and taking the heat from everybody. Everything that goes wrong is your fault, or you go get people's food and all this stuff like that, and you work your way up to being a reporter in a different, like a smaller market, and then you work your way back to the market that you were in when you was a production assistant, which is usually a higher market, and then you get yourself on the news and start doing specials, and they have you on the weekend, and then they work you in for every once in a while an anchor spot. And then after you get the anchor spot and you prove yourself a few times, or someone decides to leave, you're blessed to be able to become the anchor of your own show. Doing all of that and to lose it because you think that she is too harsh for Donald Trump is just insane to me. And so I know she'll never probably say that, even if she was so gracious on TV about what actually went down. Love her professionalism. But I am so sick of having to swallow your own tongue so that you can sit here and appease people. What they did to this sister is wrong. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, they're bringing on a black lady and a black man, Simone, Michael Steele, and I think the other lady may be Cuban. I may be wrong, but she's white passing. They don't have their own show. They're literally making it look like it takes 3 people of minorities to make a show. You got shows, and no disrespect, but Jen Psaki, sorry to tell you, sucks at her job. I can't stand the show. It really has no teeth, none whatsoever to me, and that's just me personally. It has no teeth. It just sounds like it sounds wonky to me. It doesn't sound personal. It doesn't sound like she's got something in the fight. It sounds like I'm just telling you what I heard, not what I know. And it's all about, I know these politicians, I bring them on, all that. Fine and dandy. It really has no teeth. It has no personality to it. It's very bland. And that's the point. Black people are starting to see less and less of themselves on these airwaves. And if they do, like Simone, she got some stuff going on, but she doesn't have her own show. Michael Steele, Republican. I knew about him way back in the day when he was leading the Republican Party, and he had the opposite views and was all on Reagan's side, who was a racist. But he has come not full circle, but 180, and you have him on the air now. That man will cuss every once in a while. And it'll be something that's benefiting black folk, which is like, wow. Because it didn't used to be that way when he was in the Republican Party, and you didn't hear him say anything that benefited black folk. So now that he is, I'm happy for them, and I'm happy that they have their own show. I don't want it to fail, nothing of that sort, but I would be happier if one of them got that spot. Not sending 3 people, as if it takes 3 people to fill her shoes or to fill a show that people will be interested in that are minorities. I want to see that black person like her, who's just as good as her, that can hold a show by themselves, not needing help from other people. Now, I'm not saying these 3 people can't do it by themselves. I'm saying this network doesn't believe they can do it by themselves. If they did, they wouldn't have to put an ensemble of minorities together to give them a show. They would just give one of them a show. It takes 3 of us to do the job of one white person. There are many white people on the air right now that, to me, suck at the job. And leading suck at the job. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because somehow they're capable of doing the job by themselves and leading without a sidekick. Now, this is my personal opinion, but I was in the news industry for 20 years. And I know what a news desk, a news director, a general manager thinks about people who look like me. They have never thought we were capable of doing the job by ourselves. They have always thought of it as a high risk to put one of us in power on any show. And for her to be there for 5 years, thank God. But again, you'll notice, just like on TV right now, you see Saturday Night Live. I'm going to tell you right now, personally, In Living Color should have been the one that lasted 50 years. Saturday Night Live should have died 20, 30 years ago. Why do I say that? The last time that show really produced a superstar is Eddie Murphy. Now, before that, you had Chevy Chase and all this stuff like that. But all these other people have had side star shows. They've had to bring 2 and 3 Saturday Night Live people together to make a movie. Not 1, 2 and 3. Their skits last way too damn long. It's funny in the first 13 seconds. 15 seconds later, it's trash. You constantly know exactly what they're going to say. How's that show on the air? 50 years. It sucked for 20 years. At one point, they used to have skits that lasted so damn long, you'd be sitting there like, what? Break the commercial. Do something. This sucks. They know it. NBC knows it. If he was a black man, his show wouldn't have lasted more than 5 years. A decade, if he's lucky. Keenan Ivory Wayans was funnier in his show than any of them. Think about it. Keenan Ivory Wayans was on the air for what? A few years, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever. Think about how many superstars ran through there that are multimillionaires today, that are superstars, that are loved and beyond. Like, you got rappers to R&B singers, things that, you know, other stations wouldn't even touch. You wouldn't have had that had it not been for In Living Color. Arsenio Hall, the same. You had people going through that era. You got Jim Carrey, one of the biggest stars that came through that. Again, you go through SNL, you got 50 years. And when you look through that, I would say the majority of them is like, You had some stars come out of it. And you had some forced stars to come out of it. SNL started creating their own movies and putting people in them just so they can make them superstars. Because at a certain point, the show sucked so bad, wasn't nobody trying to put them in a movie. You can name on probably 1, maybe 2 hands in 50 years the people who are still here with us that are actually talented enough to pull a movie or TV show by themselves. Amy Poehler, right? You got Eddie Murphy, you know, Chris Rock, who's on there for a short bit of time. Damon Wayans on there for a short bit of time. That's why they started the show. But that's just my feeling on this. Joy-Ann Reid is a staple in news for me, especially, and for I believe in the United States, and that was there to give you the news straight on a network and had personality where you knew this stuff was coming from her heart and her soul. You knew she was up nights. Up nights, this stuff would bother her. Every time something she would know information, she would be on social media. What do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about? She was engaged. No disrespect to any of those other MSNBC people, but none of them were engaged. They were all hiding in this network bubble. Oh, yeah, I know this and I know that. You didn't see any of them talking to the people regularly. They got podcasts and stuff. When did you see Rachel Maddow and all of them on social media talking to you and me like we're human beings, like we mattered? You don't. You see them on podcasts talking to their friends. They're in that little media bubble, even though they're still holding people's feet to the fire. If you don't get in touch with the people, you don't have any power. The only power you have is the network. The only power you have is those people who want to control you and tell you how to speak, what to think, what to put on air. I truly believe Joy-Ann Reid was pointed out because they were like, we don't want you news people doing what she does. We don't want you assimilating with the regular folk. We want you to have this prestige like you're not one of them. You're above them and you're talking down to them, not to them. You're telling them what you know and they don't know. What they don't understand with social media, we know a lot that you're not talking down to us. We want you to talk to us. And we want you to have feelings toward what the hell you're giving us. We don't want a stoic robot telling us, and this is what happened in the news, and blah, 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 blah. Well, then how does that make you like feel about this? Oh, I'm not supposed to have feelings. I'm just supposed to report. If I needed ChatGPT to talk to me, I don't need you. I need you to be personable. I need you to be someone who gives a damn about the people. And you can't give a damn about the people when you stay disconnected from them. I understand they want to have journalistic integrity, like they're not on either side. I get it. But when people are going through pain, losing their jobs, they don't want to hear you speak to them as if they don't matter. It's just a number. There's 300 or something people lost their jobs and blah, 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 blah. Where's your emotion toward that? You don't have any of the factual things that are happening to people? We don't want to have this old thing. Is that when the world starts to take a shift and it started shifting on the axis of alternative facts, people want to cling on to somebody who gives a damn about real facts. If you're not getting pissed off that these alternative facts are enter the airwaves and you just want to give everybody their own fair time and not really realize that, hey, as a journalist, this is true, this is true. Not letting these people get on air until you have truths and you just keep it moving. We're sick of that shit. If that Republican like Scott Jennings is lying his teeth through his teeth, I don't want to hear Abby Phillip or anybody else that's more leaning toward, righteousness as opposed to dipshittery. I don't want you to be sitting there and saying, well, that could be true. Now let's move on. I don't want that. I want you to light into his ass. Where'd you get that shit from? Oh, you got it from a source? What source is it? Okay, here's what we're going to do, Scott Jennings. If you don't have a source to say what the fuck you got to say, then shut the fuck up. Because if you ain't got no sources, I don't want to hear you putting out into the ether what you're saying is factual when you have no facts. And this is what I need the news direction. I need them to say, hey, if it ain't factual, bounce. If it ain't factual, stop coming onto the show. I need the news, the network. I need y'all to sit here and say, especially if you're going to talk about you for the people, I need you to listen to the people like Joy-Ann Reid was doing, instead of trying to force it into the people's mouths and eyesight and ears that your perspective of the news. I don't want your perspective of the news. I want the news. I want you to give it to me straight. If what that person said was a lie, I don't want you to say, oh, you're kind of coloring the truth. Fuck your coloring of the truth. They just lied. Bold face lie. That's what I want heard. I don't want this cordial BS toward people who want to fill the airways with lies that you got to figure out, when the news organization is supposed to be about giving you news, facts, so that you're aware of the truth, not half-truths, not shading the truth. This has been going on for decades. These people have been letting these Republicans and other people as well come on the air and say their piece. Get it off their chest. And then they fact check it after the person is gone, so they can go lie on some other station, then lie on another station. And they know when that person is gone, people don't tuned out. Everybody that liked that person don't tuned out. And you ain't held their feet to the fire while they're in front of the camera and their people are watching. Once they're gone, the Republicans who like them bounce. They're not getting the facts after they get off the set. They're getting the facts right when that person's speaking. And if that person can't speak upon facts, then tell them to leave. This is what we're not going to do. Time out. On the air, I've caught you in 6 or 7 bold-faced lies. Not half-truths, bold-faced lies. Please give us the source so we can check it right now. I'll wait. Go to a commercial. We'll come back. We want to see if Scott Jennings can give us this information that he says he knows. I want a source before we go off the air. No more conversation from you. You can either leave or bring the facts. And if you leave, I know you're not a factual human being. Because if you want to stay and get the word out to your people, then give out the truth. But other than that, bounce. See, they're too worried about the dollar signs. That's what they're worried about. The dollar signs. Period. Yeah. So I want you guys to understand that this sister has done her thing on the networks, and she may not know it, and networks should be knowing it. They're on their way out. See, most people don't understand that the networks, the cable networks, put it that way, are a byproduct of people getting tired of the traditional news. So they went to cable news. And again, I think network news, like cable network news, is starting to get, ahead of themselves. Think they're what doesn't stink. And therefore they're like, oh, we can revamp it and we can add this person. No. You're going to start bleeding people. There are people now on YouTube that are getting more viewers than the networks are and the cable networks. They're going down and they can't understand how to right this ship. They think if they put it so that they can adjust to the way certain, let's say, maybe, I ain't gonna say necessarily racist, but more white-centric people think, oh, maybe we'll pull people in, and therefore we're gonna move that direction. And in that situation, it may work for them. I don't know. But what I'm gonna say is, what I think is that it's gonna go toward actual social media. Because that's where I end up finding a lot of my news. I double check it, fact check it, then boom, I give it to y'all. Right? I don't like listening to them because, again, if you watch a segment on the news, especially CNN, it's sickening. They'll sit there and let, like Scott Jennings, for instance, I keep saying his name, but there's many others than him, just spew some of the most idiotic stuff. And then they'll be like, well, they have, I'm like, dude, CNN should be like, you got to let you go, bro, because you really don't ever bring any facts. You bring a bunch of feelings, but you bring ratings. And that's what we're tired of. You guys are, I was going to say another word, but ratings ors. Ratings ors is what they are. And we're sick of the ratings ors. We want people who are for the people. And if the people want to pay us to continue doing it, we'll do it. We'll do it. Now, they got some new thing about targeting and stuff like that for like super chats. If you guys want to be a part of that, go ahead and do it. We have like if, within the first 30 minutes, I said, I get the up to 10, I'll have a host a Q&A session. I'm new to this stuff, so I'm trying to abide by these rules, but I'll just start giving certain things to certain people. I'm going to start off with the, in the super chat, whenever we reach the first goal, I'll stop down and give you a Q&A session if you have questions that I may have the answer to, I may not. I'm not going to lie to you. If I don't know the answer, I ain't going to give it to you. If it's my opinion, I'll give that to you. But we'll do that. And then I'll have another one, if I can set another goal after that, after we go through that process. Then I'll start creating content based on a topic you guys may give me. And then that way I know what my audience wants to hear. And therefore I'll once that particular goal is met, I'll create one video that's based off of what you guys have decided that you want me to cover, the next topic that you may or may not know the truth about. And we're going to go through some things like that. Yeah, I watch clips too, Bamboozle. So those are the things that we're going to start doing to be able to kind of help fund this whole process. I don't have any tickers or anything yet for, the Cash Apps and all of the Venmo. I don't have that just yet. People have been supporting me, but through subscribing to my channel and being members. But I'll start adding all that stuff in because it is taking a lot of time and money for me to be able to get all these things together for everybody. So if you appreciate it, I appreciate it if you can help me out. But anyway, we're going to continue down this path. That's our sister, Joy Ann Reid, and I wish her nothing but success in everything that she's doing and what she plans on doing in the future. I have no idea what our sister's got going on, but thank you, sis, for all you've done, and I'm going to keep following you and learning from you and sharing the brilliance that you exude. All right. Oops, sorry. This thing is like totally giving me the wrong. Yeah, it would be. I'm pulling a Don Lemon. It's switching over to be the whole other thing. But it's a new process I'm going through. But we're gonna switch it over. Hopefully this time it'll work. Over to my camera. Wow, look at that. Look at that there. But so we're gonna those two I had to give it to. I wanted you guys to see another thing that was going on this past week. And it shocked me to see it, but then again, things shouldn't shock me like they do. I often wonder why they shock me, because they really shouldn't. They shouldn't at all, because these people do some of the most craziest things, and we end up having to deal with it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up here in a minute, but they do some of the craziest things. They cut this part out. Audition tape, right? Bamboozle. His brother's doing this all by himself. It's additional adding on to it. I'm trying to do extra stuff. That's okay. We'll keep that. I like, keeping it honest. I got flaws with me, so I deal with those flaws. I don't try to hide them. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. Well, let's see what where is he at? I don't know if I necessarily got his video. Oh, I'm gonna go first with did you guys get a chance to see Steve Bannon give the Sig Heil? And if you know what that is, that's the Hitler sign. But he didn't go from his chest all the way up. He just gave you the Heil, not the Sig Heil. And they think they're fooling people, that they can make that signal so mainstream that people would just start thinking of it as nothing. But you can tell that he did it is because he immediately did it, took it down, and then with the same, conversation he's having, he puts his hands up and he points like this and he points like that and he does like this but this part, he does completely full arm salute and then stops and comes back and this and then this and then this. What was the purpose of doing that? What was the purpose of it? Again, people don't understand. Thank you, Jen Jans. I appreciate you. People don't understand that these people are literally putting out a signal to the racist people in this country and letting them know that we got your back. You are in power. Us racists are in power right now. I mean, that signal, that sign hasn't been used in politicians or in the political world ever in America. Well, I ain't gonna lie. I lied. In America, it was used way back before Hitler started using it, to be honest, back in the day when it was all super racist and the KKK. You can go find video of them using that back in the day. But it hasn't happened since then in history, when it was just full-on racist everywhere with political stuff. When people were, enslaved and all stuff like that throughout the United States or through Jim Crow, those things were happening. They're doing it now to make it normalized so that people feel comfortable doing it. If people in power can do it, people on the street can do it. You got to understand what they're trying to do to y'all. They're literally trying to put you in situations where regular racist, sexist, xenophobic people can put that sign up and say it doesn't mean what it means. It does. And I don't care whether you're black, white, Latin, Asian. This thing was used against Jewish people. And if they're going to do it against them, they're going to do the same thing against us. You got to understand, it was, when you really think about what that sign signs for, it's not just about Jewish people. That's what we've been taught through history to think of when we see that sign. Back when this was happening to Jews, they were unaliving black folks in Germany as well. They were unaliving others as well. We just talk about the Jewish people. We don't talk about the others because they were the majority of the people that they were trying to deal with. But they were trying to make a pure white nation. If you were not pure white in Germany at that time, they were doing it to you too. So don't get it twisted. What they're doing is literally trying to show you this is what we're trying to normalize. And if we don't hold their feet to the fire when they do it and we just let it fly like the news media and other people are doing, then we're actually succumbing to whatever the hell they want to do. And see, what these media outlets are doing is that there's so much going out from these Republican MAGA Republicans. There's so much going out at once that they're going to say, oh, the news just complains about everything because they're sending out 3,000 things and you can only make a complaint about 1, 2, or 3 of them. You make complaints about all of them and look at the news. They're always complaining. And then other people are like, they always are complaining. They're trying to save your life, fool. Because the news and other people, they know the history. Like myself, we know the history. These are signs of history repeating itself. And if you don't know your history, which they're trying to make you forget it, because they done tied history to your feelings. Oh, well, it's me. I'm a white person and got to hear about everybody else's problems. I got problems too. Every one of us got problems. You don't have a racial problem. It may feel like a racial problem because everybody's pissed off at white people for fucking them over, but it ain't got nothing to do with you if you ain't fucking them over. It's just people who look like you. Now, I don't know about you, but black people who look like me that commit crime, I ain't on their side. Just because they black, no, I'm not on your side. If you out here trying to unalive me, I ain't going to be cool with you. And I ain't going to feel guilty if something happens to you if you're out there trying to hurt people. Get what you deserve. But see, what's happening is a certain a group of people, let's say racist white people, are trying to make people who may be racist adjacent, meaning like you're not really a racist, but your uncle and aunt are, and you love your uncle and aunt, so you ain't going to call them out really. So you're kind of adjacent to the racist, so you're not trying to stop it, but you're not trying to be a part of it either. So therefore, you're like on the fence. So when it catches fire, you're going to get half burnt as opposed to whole burnt. You can't figure out which side to really be on 100%. Those people, you guys are just as bad as they are, if not worse, because you make people think that you're going to be on their side. But when it comes down to whatever, voting, being on, you're halfway. Well, halfway is fine if someone on that side is benefiting you, but there isn't. They're creating plans to destroy you. But they're destroying, in your mind, immigrants more. They're destroying, in your mind, black people are going to feel it more than me. Why do you believe that? Because again, you've fallen for the hype. The stuff that racist white people would tell you. They're not creating jobs for you. They're taking them away. The rich don't care about you. They'd rather take your money and kick you to the curb. You got to understand something. This I'm telling for poor white people who always vote against your best interests. Take away black people, Latin people, Asian people, all the other people. Please take yourself back before United States or the New World was even an idea. Take yourself back to England. Do you realize that it was white on white crime? That's what you guys always wanted, the black and black stuff. It was white on white crime. You guys were killing and eating each other. You were fighting all the time. All the time. Barbarically. So do you think that, and it was all about class. Do you think, and also like the culture, if you were like one part of Europe and another part, oh, I don't like you because you eat whatever before you eat that. It's weird. But you guys were unaliving each other. And you look like one another. Right? Come to the new world where you fought to get away from being, having a monarchy, from having a king telling you what to do. You want to have your own thing. Come to the new world and you create this whole new place where everybody can come and not be treated like they're, this king stuff. You come here and they treat you like complete, a lot better. Well, not to say black people, but at the very beginning, they did treat you a lot better than over there. They weren't trying to kill each other and go. They were working together to create a new nation, to get away from that monarchy stuff. And now these fools are trying to go back to where England, where they fought and unalived each other. These rich people don't care nothing about you. Poor white people, middle-class white people, they care nothing about you. You think they do because they're in power. They do not. They really do not. If they did, look what they're doing to you now. They got you believing that the people who are on welfare the most are people of color, specifically black people. By the millions, welfare is given to white people than anybody else. So if you get all mad about, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you're really talking to your white and your white brother and sister who are poor. There, by the millions, there's more of them than there are in any other race. If you got rid of this fund to help the poor, white people will hurt the most. But they got these racist people believing that it's going to hurt the brown and black people more. So let me vote for it. Until they realize, wait a minute, I receive, money for being, sick, or for the military, or, I'm a veteran. I receive money from there. What? What do you mean you're going to take away ACA? Get rid of Obamacare, but keep ACA. Don't you realize that ACA and Obamacare is the same? What? Do you understand how they got you hating because it is a racial thing? And you'll say, no, it's not about race. It is. Because if it wasn't about race, then you would have knew that the ACA is the same thing as Obamacare. The Republicans named it Obamacare so they could get you guys to hate it. And you said, I love Obama. I love ACA. So that means you love Obamacare. And when you told them that, they freaked out. What? I don't like Obamacare. Yeah, you do. You like Obamacare, don't you? Nope, don't like it. Why don't you like it? Because it holds his name. They got you to vote against your own best interest because of race. They didn't do their homework to find out that Obamacare is the exact same thing. The exact same thing. It's crazy. So I don't know. I've been trying to figure out how they're going to go about this. You know what I mean? How are they going to continue down this path and make it a better place for them? Because it ain't gonna be better for them if they continue down this path and don't figure out, like, oh, these people are for me. These people are for me. The ones who are fighting, they're for me. They're not against me. And I don't know why it's taking them so long to figure that out. But they have. But here's a situation that I'm about to show you that's been happening since, like, we're going to go into the this past weekend. We had, I ain't going to call it, Donald Trump. We had Donald Trump say, I think it was on Saturday, to people that somehow he was going to get them to be, like 20% of some fund or whatever that he was going to help them get. And I was like, really? So how's that going to work? How's that going to work? If you are going to get these people to give them 20% of the $2 trillion that they're supposed to save. He said, we're thinking about an idea of giving them 20%. If they do it, we're going to give them 20%. If you guys, we get this $2 trillion. Now, the problem with this is that getting that 2%, that 20%, it's going to be hard to do. First of all, when you talk about what Donald Trump said about that 20%, you'll hear, if you heard that video, I don't have it on me, but if you heard that video, he literally said this, and this is what I didn't like about the news did not cover this. I tried to find it. I could not find it. If they did, let me know in the chat. But they covered this conversation, but I'm going to say, but not all of it. What Donald Trump said in that little press conference, he said, we're thinking about, not a definite, we're thinking about giving 20% back to the people. So you got people out here on social media like, look, if you didn't like Donald Trump, you didn't vote for him, you don't get any of the 20%. And it's like, dude, the 20% is not coming. And the reason why I know the 20% is not coming, because first of all, he said to everybody, and also Doge, $5,000. And then some people have been saying, I don't know where these Republicans have come from because I listened to their stuff. They've been saying up to $8,000. I'm like, $5,000 to $8,000 you're going to get back from them saving $2 trillion. That's how it's going to work. Okay. All right. So when you start to look into that, I deal with numbers and facts. I don't deal with people's feelings. Not at all. I'm not a real feely guy. I love people, but I'm not a feely guy when it comes to facts. Just tell me the truth and stop lying to me. Right? The reality is this. Donald Trump said 20% of $2 trillion would be set aside. Ladies and gentlemen, that's $400 billion. Right? $400 billion. He also said that 20% would be set aside to pay off debt. Say what? Just 20%? Okay. So you got 20% to pay off debt, 20% to give people money back. $5,000 that is. Where's the other 60% of the $2 trillion going? Made no sense whatsoever. The news never said anything about it. He talked about where 40% was going. Where's the other 60? Now, when we talk about, we're going to focus on being fiscally conservative. I find myself to be fiscally conservative. At least those are my ideals. It's not always easy to be when things may happen because life happens to you, right? But I'm fiscally conservative. I don't buy anything that I don't need. And I live as much as possible within my budget and don't go outside of it. But those types of things are parts of being fiscally conservative. But when you look at the history of the Republican Party, they have never been fiscally conservative. They always spend more than they make. Now, I'm not going to say Democrats have been the best at it either, but they've been better than Republicans. Democrats are more fiscally conservative than Republicans. See, when Democrats do stuff, they literally have a plan on how to get the money back. Does it always work? No. But has it worked? Yes. Republicans never have a plan on how to get that money back. They never do. I'm going to tell you what their plan is. Always. And I'm going to tell you how they know the plan will never work. But they keep selling it to you guys as if it would. They have this thing that's similar to trickle-down effect. It's another term for it, but trickle-down effect, right? Trickle-down economy. The ideal is, this is the way it's supposed to work. And to be honest, if it was implemented properly, it could work. But what's supposed to happen is you give money, right, to these, like everybody gets money back, but you know the millionaires and billionaires, they're the ones always asking for it. So they're going to get millions and millions of dollars back. But their ideal and what they try to pitch to get this money is that they're going to create jobs. We're the job creators. So we want this money so that we can go in and invest in growth and therefore create living wage jobs, therefore creating wealth. People spend more, our economy grows. Sounds good, right? I mean, I'm down for that. That totally would work. But you forgot the key ingredient that destroys it. The key ingredient that destroys it is greed. And what do these people have more of? They're not God-like people. God-like wants to look after people, to help people. Christ-like is to help people. It's a total facade to believe that people who are Christian are conservative and all. It's a facade. Did you hear these Christian churches by these white male leaders when Donald Trump was running? They literally were saying about women. They all woke. You know what we need to do to stop this wokeness with these women? This is a real story. I'm not lying. This dude said, you know what you need to do? You need to, he didn't say this is the exact word I'm saying, but it's the same thing. You need to unalive a couple of them. Show them as an example. This is on the pulpit of a white big church. Unalive a few of these women so they get back in line. said from a Christian leader. Black Christian leader, Mark Robinson. Some of them need some killing. In a church, white women behind them. What? How are you Christ-like? Republicans never have a plan to help their fellow woman or fellow man. Their plan is always, how can I get more money? To hell with everybody else. How is that Christ-like? They use Christ as a crutch to get people who are in love with God to believe that they have the same ideals as Jesus. They do not. They have the same ideals as Satan. Greed. It tells you to go against greed in the Bible, not go toward it. Republicans go toward greed. They never have a plan to help the needy. They call the needy entitled. Say what? You mean to tell me if I'm born with a mental issue that doesn't allow me to work like you work, and I need to live and survive and be productive, you don't want to have a program that helps those people who have mental issues? You rather them do what? Live on the street? They never have a plan for those people. People who were born without legs or they have to be in wheelchairs, they never had a plan to create ramps for those people. So you can't tell me you're for Christ when Christ was the person who went out to the homeless, went out to the poor, and washed their feet. He didn't tell them, put some shoes on, them things stink. Get a job or something. He didn't say that, did he? So how can you profess to be close to Jesus or try to be, or even Christian, if you ain't doing nothing Christ-like except for fake praying? Explain that to me. Explain that. So that's why, especially black folks, are mostly Democratic. People who try to, they use this thing to tell black people, and some of you guys fell for it hook, line, and sinker. You on the Republican plantation. No. They fooled you into thinking that somebody who's fighting for the rights of people is a plantation. And those who are fighting just to get more money, those people right there are the ones that are godlike. Read your Bible. I mean, read it. It's right there. You profess to know it. It literally tells you what greed is. Doesn't it? It professes to you what greed is. Yet that's all you do is think about how much money you can make. You want to make the government into a business so you can make more money, but you don't give a damn about the people. They talk about welfare. Some of the biggest welfare recipients are rich people. Yeah, they don't call it welfare. It's called subsidies, tax breaks and cuts and shit. That's what they label it. They go to the government to get grants to do shit that nobody cares about. Do you know the majority of them fail at the task at hand? And because the government doesn't give them like a you have to or you got to pay it back with interest, they go out and squander our money and be like, we tried, it didn't work. Billions of dollars a year go into their pockets to do absolutely shit with it. Say they're going to do something and fail at it and say, well, we tried, and go out and buy a yacht with the remaining money. Don't have to pay some of it back, if not most of it back. That's what rich people do to our country, and take our dollars and sit there and act like we're the burden. We're the burden on society, us middle class or poor people. We're the ones that are, what did Elon Musk call us recently? Parasites? Parasites are the people who take money from the government. Excuse me. From the government. We're gonna actually show y'all, if I can get it up here, because you know. Elon Musk. It says right there that the Tesla EV vehicles, armored, anywhere between $300 to $500 million. $300 to $500 million. I think they settled on $400 million. Now, They recanted this and just put down EV vehicles or something like that after that was said. But who's putting this together if it's not Elon Musk and his people? Who made that mistake if it wasn't Elon Musk and his people? And him, if he's doing his job, it should have never went out until he checked to see if it was right. Tells you he's not doing his job. It kills me how they make it seem like everybody else is somehow like not doing their work and they're not professional enough, yet they keep on putting out mistake after mistake, and all it takes is a proofread. Oh, that shouldn't say Tesla, it should say EV. Easy. But they're messing up majorly. And guess what? Had this been done by Kamala Harris or this been done by President Obama, had this been done by the last president that was in Joe Biden that was in office, you guys would be going ape shit. How did he mess that up? How did he mess that up? Oh, he's incompetent. He's incompetent. But somehow this man is still competent, and he's only been in a month, and he's been fucking up left and right. Fired people that we need for our nuclear stockpile, and don't know how to rehire them because he needs them. Who operates like this? And why do you call that successful? Someone who messes up and then comes out and say, oh, I made a mistake. We'll fix it. How? I don't know. Would you hire that person to run your business? I wouldn't hire that person to run a dog or not dog, hot dog stand. If you don't know how many damn hot dogs in there and you take an order for 500 and you got 32, you don't put us in some situations here. You fired at that moment. I'm not going to keep you coming in and you can't count. And you're too lazy to look at the stock and realize, we ain't got enough of that. Simple shit. Neophyte shit. You don't know what you need to keep the nuclear weapons intact and so the reactors and everything don't mess up. You don't know you need that. You don't even know what they do as a job. How you go around firing people when you don't even know the full extent of what their job is? That's like a doctor literally saying to somebody, you know what? It seems like you have something wrong with your stomach. I'm going to go in and do an operation. They go in your stomach and start clipping any fucking thing. Stop painting. Stop painting. I'm out, fool. I don't know. Wake up and they don't snip your heart. You're like, what the fuck is this? I came in from my stomach. What my heart tripping for? They come in with precision. They're allowed to make mistakes, but they come in with precision. They do tests to figure out what is making what work and not work. What is clogged up. And then they figure out how to work it. Everybody does this simple homework, yo. How the hell you not know for our nuclear stockpile and shit, we need these people? You know how you don't know that? Because you did no homework into finding out what these people's jobs were and what they did. You automatically discredited that that's a lot of money you're getting. I don't know. Yeah, I'm risking my life every day, fool. What you doing? Sitting in a room on Twitter, talking trash? You guys give this man way too much credit. This man is not a smart man. He really isn't. How can you be smart and tell people to cut stuff that matter for our national security, everything, and you don't know how it works? I have no problem, and I do think we need to cut back on what we spend. I agree with that, to be conservative. But first, I want you to make sure you don't cause a bigger problem where we have to spend more before we fix it. See, the idea is to cut perfectly, correct? As much as you can. So if I am going to try and fix something, I'm going to see like, this works, and this leads to that, and this leads to that. So if I cut this, I kill that, I kill that. Engineers do this all the time. Electrical engineers. If you cut this wire and you realize that wire's attached, I'm cutting off the complete power to the entire house. Don't want to do that. Look for the other wire. Oh, this one leads to this one. That one's dead. I can cut that. That's how you do it. It's very simple. Why is it hard for a man who's a billionaire, the richest man in the world, is dumb as hell. You can literally go into the government and say, okay, we need to do a total audit on what the hell you guys do. Oh, you do this, you do this, you do that. You ask the people who do the job. Let me ask you a question. Interview them. Is there a piece of this business that we got going on that could literally work without the other part? Once you figure out how it works, then you know where you can snip to keep it working. You just don't snip. Oh, it don't work no more? How do we fix it? I don't know. You snipped it. And here we are putting out fires, which is costing more money. How do you save money when you start spending money for no damn reason? Your fuck-ups are costing more money than your fix-ups. This should take time. It shouldn't be willy-nilly. It should have some kind of like professionalism to it. And it doesn't. These people had years. They wrote 900 pages. They had people who were in the White House and knew what was going on. They did all this work for years and still got it wrong. And they're the smart ones? Come on. Be realistic. Be realistic. You see that you got $400 million there. And to get that $400 million, he said he cut back $55 billion. Now we're going to get into that, saying that $55 billion. This man said 55 billion is what he saved. And Donald Trump says he's going to give 20% of the $2 trillion whenever they get it. They're never reaching that $2 trillion. And I'm going to tell you why. But let's give them their benefit of their doubts. $2 trillion, he's going to give 20% to the people, saying it's 5,000 to 8,000. And he's going to give 20% toward paying down the debt. The other 60% he doesn't talk about. News never mentioned it. Okay. 20% of that $2 trillion is $400 billion. There are literally 153.8 million people who pay into taxes. Federal taxes. Right? So with each one of us getting $5,000 back, do you think 400 billion divided by 153.8 million is $5,000? It is not. It is 2,600. He'd have to save basically 40% of that money to give us back $5,200. So seeing as how he's saying he's going to give us 20% of it, then the ideal of giving you $5,000 is not a reality. That's why I tell you that money's never coming, because it's a facade to begin with. It's just to appease you. You notice how he came out with it after he started seeing Republicans going batshit crazy at these town hall meetings. Right? Went batshit crazy at these town hall meetings. And so there's no way that you're going to get $5,000 or even $8,000 from this at all. You just can't do it. It's not going to happen. And that's exactly what they said. So they lied to you. But you got people out here, black, white, Latin, Asian, all stuff like that. I've seen them on TikTok and other social media talking about, oh, we're going to get this money back and blah, blah, blah. You are stupid. Just go and do the math. There's no way to take 20% of something and say that it's going to be $5,000 to $8,000 for you when it doesn't equate that. The numbers just don't match. Math ain't mathing, and you think it's going to work. Even if you took the entire $2 trillion and told these 153.8 million they were going to get back, this amount, you could do that, but that's literally like $13,003 for the people who pay into the tax system to get a percentage of the entire $2 trillion. 13,000. Just do the math. It's not possible. So now Republicans and people who believe in this fool, what do you say now about that? He lied to you on Saturday. that it's not possible. He did it so he can quell you guys because you're going off on him at these, and now they're going after Trump at these meetings, but they're going through these senators and congressmen. They're going through them, but it's Trump they want. One lady was like, we don't have a kingdom. We don't have a king. Why aren't you telling him he's not a king? Why don't you fight for us? That was one lady. Other people just going off. All white men, white women, all Republicans. Then he comes out and says, I'm going to give you 20% so he can shut your greedy asses up. And some of you guys fell for it, but didn't do the homework to find out it's not possible. Now, here's the reason why I say greed is the deciding factor for all these people. This man talks about he's going to give you, I'll give you some of this money. And you automatically, not all of them, but people are just, oh, okay. He's pacifying me. I'm going to get this money. I'm going to get money. Not going to happen. But even, you're talking about him giving you a percentage of this money. But I thought you guys' problem was that we spent too much and we need to pay down the deficit. We need to pay down the national debt. I thought you were fiscally conservative. I call bullshit. You never were fiscally conservative. You're just greedy as fuck. You're not out for a solution. The only solution you want is to get more money. That's it. You ain't trying to solve no problems. You just want more money. Point blank, period. And that's why people like myself can't stand Republicans, because you guys don't have a spine worth a damn to do anything good for anybody else but yourself. That's it. Ain't nobody in your plan but you. Poor people ain't in your plan. I had somebody in one of my videos today that I had a comment section. He was talking about, okay, a flat tax of 20% will work. No, it won't. How's a flat tax of 20? Oh, then $15,000 to $20,000 if you don't pay any tax making $15,000 to $20,000, you only get taxed on $15,000 to $20,000 after that. So let's say you make $21,000, you'll get taxed on that $1,000. Keep doing the numbers, poor people and middle class. A 20% tax does what? It makes poor people and middle class people pay more. It makes rich people pay less. How is that helping the government? How is that helping the people? It kills me that you guys can sit here and do a job, these conservative-minded people, these Republican-minded people, and you get paid way more than you know you're worth. You come home with your $300,000, $500,000, knowing you're robbing the system because you ain't worth that. The shit you doing ain't nowhere near worth that. The employees underneath you work harder than you. You know it. You're an overpaid overseer. And then you get in your mind that you're entitled to be making $500,000 or $600,000, and you want to keep all of it, while these people underneath you making $40,000, and you want them to pay 20%, and they're gonna sit around here and take 20% of that, and they got to pay $2,000-$3,000 for their taxes, and here you are getting paid $500,000. You used to have to pay $50,000. You're paying 26, whatever. That's fair? No, it's not, and you know it's not. You're just greedy. You're living a life that's nice for you. You're getting over on the system because you ain't worth $500,000. A kid can come in and do your job and make $60,000 a year, and you know it. But instead, you think that you're entitled to this $500,000, and you start treating people who are making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 like they don't work hard enough. You ain't worked hard to the point where what you got for $500,000, this person working down here slaving, worked harder than you ever did in your lifetime. And you know it. You know it. If you don't, you should. Now, ain't nobody trying to take that money out your pocket, but they want you to pay your fair share. If you got billions of dollars and you're paying, like a different, like a higher rate, you still going to have the yachts you have. You're still going to have that yacht that lands a helicopter on it. You're still going to have parties every day. You're still going to have, events that cost $1 million. That shit's still going to happen for you. And say you want to pay 20%. It's a damn shame. Have no respect for the for your people here. And the thing that makes me understand even more that these people are not of God. They don't know what God is about. They lie to you just so they can pick your pockets on Christ-like stuff. You know why I know this? Because it says in the Bible. Does it not say in the Bible? And I'm going to get to it right here in a second. I was just working on it. Does it not say in the Bible, and I'm trying to get the exact wording because I don't want to mess it up, but it basically comes into to play to say that to whom much is given, much is required. Does it not say that in the Bible? To whom much is given, much is required. These people will preach to you that they got the word of God in their heart and their mind and their spirit. And they ain't nowhere near it. Ain't nothing about them God-like. Ain't nothing like them Christian-like. In the Bible, Christ was God's son. Christ was a good person. He hung around those who weren't like him. He hung around those that the rich thought were trash. And he made them feel like they were just as good as anybody else. He entrusted them to, quote unquote, write the Bible. He didn't trust the rich. That was Jesus, the one you guys who pretend like you care about him. You're nothing like him. Nowhere near him. Yet you go around professing it because you want people to grapple and come up to you like you mean something. No, you're a nobody trying to be somebody by using God's name while you're nowhere near like him. You ain't nowhere near close. You're closer to Satan than you are to Jesus. And you never will be closer to Jesus doing the satanic bullshit y'all do. Don't care about nobody but money. Money is the root of all evil. But yet, though, they want to tell you that, oh, I'm doing good things. By whom? Everything the Bible says, you guys are a total opposite of. Yet you're going around here talking like you're a Christian. You guys, you got some foxes in your hen house. You got a person inside the church pretending to be Christ, and he's walking around with a tail and horns, acting like he believes in God, saying things that say in the Bible so that you don't get to see who he really is. You don't get to see once he leaves, his horns grow. That's what these Republican Christians are all about. They're literally Satan telling you they're Jesus Christ-like. How can you be Jesus Christ-like when you separate yourself and start telling people they got to unalive women because they're woke? That you got to do something crazy to women or men who become trans. All this shit are not accepting anybody. Yet though Jesus Christ accepted everybody. He tried to school the rich, but they didn't want to hear it. Those are the ones that unalived him. And you're more like the people who unalived Jesus than you are like the people who worshiped him. You just realize that the majority of Americans or people in the world would rather follow someone like Jesus. So you lie to them. You cloak yourself in Jesus' terms so they don't get to see the demon you really are. They think because you know these verses in the Bible that you are no longer Satan, but you are. You are, and you know you are. Because you don't have a good bone in your body. You're always figuring out how you can rob people instead of help them. That's why I don't like being Republican. That's why I don't like Republicans. Because you guys never have a plan for anybody. You always have a plan how to rob people. How to get more money. How can I get more money? Who can I rob? Who can I unalive? Who can I do something to so that I get ahead? Who can I step on in the name of Jesus? You never have one that who can I lift up? Who can I help? Who can I pray for? Who can I give money to? Who can I educate? You don't think that way. You're trying to get rid of education. How is that God-like? How is that Jesus-like? It's not. Keep Jesus and God's name out your mouth. You are nothing like him. Go around talking the way you really want to talk. Go and worship Satan like you really want to worship him. Quit telling me that you're a part of God when you're doing devilish shit. You never have a plan for the people. You only have a plan for rich people, which you always want to become. And never give back 20%. Everybody gives 20%. Right now, the poor can't give 20%. They already poor giving the money that they give. The poor, the lower end of the tax is like 3.7% for the very poorest people. You want them to pay 20% because you want to hold on to $1 million. It's just evil. It's just evil. It is simple, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to do things where the greedy can let go of a few things. They ain't got to have every damn thing. Everything they talk about is all about how they can make more money. Here it is, they come back $55 billion, and we're going to give $400 million for some Teslas. Armored Teslas. I'm about to show you what a Tesla will do. Before we even get into that, I want you guys to understand something here. Excuse me. A Tesla is, for lack of a better term, a trash vehicle when it comes to military. It's a trash vehicle. It's a garbage can on wheels. There's nothing a Tesla can do in a military situation. And it doesn't take a genius to realize that. So why is he receiving, or anybody for that matter, for an EV vehicle to be a military vehicle that's armored? Why? The only time you would need that vehicle is in war of some sort. And you want to ask yourself a quick question. What about Tesla says war ready? Nothing. Nothing at all. So you're going to give him, I'd rather you give $400 million to Ford or Ford trucks, Chevy trucks, something that literally can do something. But you're going to give it to a company that a vehicle can't handle regular terrain. There's a video out of them testing a Tesla trying to go up the hill, trying to go up a dirt hill. Something that you would end up doing if you're in a war. It may not be as steep as this hill they showed you, but it's going to be a hill. It tried to go up this steep hill. It got stuck and slid back down the hill. If you're in a war, that group of people are dead. They're not escaping. They're done. You might as well get out and walk. You have a better chance. You're going to spend millions of dollars for this shit. Another test was done of a Tesla. When you're going through war, like Iraq and all these other places, there's a lot of rocks. It's not all super like soft land to go on. You're literally hitting bumps and boop, 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 all that, right? A Tesla can't survive that. Cannot survive it. Been tested already that it cannot survive it. Why are we putting $400 million in something they can't do the simple shit on regular roads? Because you want to spend this money to have something do something for war? For wartime. It's a waste of cash. Mark my words, even when he gets this money, he'll never create a vehicle that's that truck to make it be war ready. They would develop an entire new vehicle. That truck will not be the one you see because the way it's designed is trash. And it's not going to be my words for it. I'm going to show you a video how trashy it is. They did a test, like crash test dummies for vehicles on this Tesla through terrain, similar to possibly a war or, an area where it may have a lot of, not like straight streets that may be rocky, climbing over little small chunks, like they have explosions, stuff like that. You got building rubble you're going to have to go over, like a tank will end up going over there. A car won't. Some trucks that are all terrain will. A Tesla wouldn't make it. If it did, once it got down off of that terrain back onto regular land, it's a wrap. It would not sustain the fall. Why give $400 million of our dollars to this man? It's insane. But we're about to, if you're seeing it, all right, Fafa Flipper, we're about to check it out right now. If I can get this thing up. And this guy, you'll see it in a second. And
I found something major. So in my Cybertruck video, I drove the Cybertruck off of some concrete and it came down and smashed the hitch. And then after I had to pull the F-150 out, the hitch snapped off of the back of the Cybertruck. That's not okay. This is a truck with an 11,000 pound towing capacity. Now, I don't have the Cybertruck with me here today because it's at Tesla, currently getting repaired. I think the bill is up to around $12,000 now for repairs. That's not including fixing the frame because you can't. It sucks because I really admire everything Elon's doing, and I think this Cybertruck is innovation. But what I don't think is amazing is my truck spontaneously disassembling. The hitch is hooked up to what? Let's just say that's going to be a big problem, and it already is. 2 days later, I got this message. Family pulling a travel trailer hit a large bump on the highway, lost their rear end, and then got rear-ended by their own trailer. I don't know if there's any reports on it, as I haven't been able to find anything on it besides seeing it and taking a picture as we drove by. I said, you watched the trailer come off? They hit probably a pothole, and the truck and trailer bounced probably 6 inches off the ground, exactly as I predicted. And when it landed, the trailer ripped off and smashed into the back of the truck. We slowed down as the trailer went all over the place before coming to a stop. I took a picture of them on the side of the road and kept on our way. To the T, that's exactly what said would happen, and it's gonna happen again. Let's say your trailer hits a pothole or gets a flat, it could shear this whole thing off. As you can see in Tucker Carlson's video, they're loading up a dump trailer full of dirt, which weighs considerably heavier. All
right, so we ain't gonna go all into everything in that video. You can go check it out. That one's called Cybertruck Frames Are Snapping in Half on YouTube. So you can probably go see that one for yourself if you like. But I just wanted you to see, why are we spending $400 million for that trash? I mean, it might be fun and exciting and new for just regular road shit, but they literally hit a pothole and destroyed their back end. You're telling me is you want to make these things in war? So that what? That our people can literally just die for no damn reason? I mean, they'd be better off on a bike. I mean, it makes no sense. $400 million to develop that. For what? For what? I mean, if it's armored, okay, so they can't shoot regular bullets, but you're not going to survive a blast of some kind of grenade or anything like that. Okay, it's going to protect you from possible bullets. That's just bulletproof shit. You can put that on any car. There are Lincoln town cars out there that have stars in them that are bulletproof. How is that $400 million worth of shit? It's not. It's insane. Put that $400 million toward the Americans if you want to put it somewhere. Invest in Americans. Give Americans opportunities and invest in them. There are millions of people out there that want money to be able to start a business or something like that to grow the economy. Start doing it for them. $50,000 here, $25,000 there. Grow the economy. No, it's always for rich white men's toys that don't even necessarily work. But because they trust in them to make some of the most idiotic things because, oh, I feel so good about this Tonka truck type of bullshit. There is nothing that vehicle can do that a Jeep can do right now. A Jeep could do what they're talking about right now. Armor that. You're going to waste this money. I know that there's private companies that make regular vehicles with the tread wheels. I seen them years ago. They were making robots with tread wheels and stuff like that. And it's, it's not highly secret, but you got to look for it. These companies that have government contracts. And I mean, those things is what they need to be investing in. Getting these types of robots to fight us instead of human bodies and human bodies controlling them. Those things might be something you want to look into. An armored Tesla, get that money back, like right now. You're gonna get rid of jobs that people actually need to keep this country running, and give this man $400 million to do absolutely nothing. We can see it already. It's a failure. Why invest in something that's a failure? Exactly. We shouldn't be. We should not be doing that. You should be up in arms that this man is getting this money, and he came up with a stupid plan to have an armored Tesla that can't even hit a regular speed bump without tearing out the bottom of it. It's a damn shame. When we go into what Doge has said it was going to do and has been doing for a while, it says like a month now, what they've been saying is that they saved us $55 billion in a quick time. Now, a lot of people have challenged that because they had $8 million in there, had $8 billion for a specific thing that was really $8 million. How you mess that up? Of course, M and B, but M, there's an N between the B. You're going to tell me you saw that and was like, oh, okay, no mistake. You got them making silly mistakes. Silly. But they're drastic when it comes to, it's not like you're working at McDonald's. This is America's security. You shouldn't be making these simple mistakes. These are very simple mistakes. What are you doing for the stuff that's hard? Can you trust that they're going to get the hard things right when they can't get the simple shit right? And if you do, why do you trust that? I'm sorry, I'm a proof type person. You got to prove it to me. You can't give me no like, oh, it's going to work. No, prove to me before I put up a dime or any of my time. Give me how you foresee this working. Don't tell me you're just going to cut back and just run in and start cutting shit. That's just to have a leader like Trump, supposedly, to tell him this is what I want you to do, and him to go follow through and fuck up this bad. It's terrible from the top to the bottom. There's no good organization. It should be simple. And it should take time. Find how the system works. Find out where you can cut. Cut. It should take less than a year to be able to figure out how everything works. Every day you should be finding out how everything works and how it, after you figure out how it works, then you find out how it integrates with other systems. You find out if I cut this, what happens over there? Nothing? Okay, we can cut this. It's simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard work, but it's simple. They're trying to make hard work seem easy. And when you make hard work seem easy, you fuck up. And that's all they've been doing, fucking up. Because they've been trying to make something very hard to do seem easy. Because I'm smart, I'm intelligent. No, you're a dipshit. And you're messing things up that don't need to be messed up. And it's costing us money to fix. So how you saving money when you spending too much money to fix shit that you should have just had a simple solution to? It's insane. But when they talk about this 2 trillion, and before I get onto that, just again to let you know, I am in this chat situation. So if you want to donate, I appreciate it. I don't have any kind of, I don't have Venmo to give you or PayPal and all that stuff. Just give in the chat if you can. I appreciate it as we continue to keep on trying to build on this. I'm going to try and do a show every day at 5 p.m. I'm going to do my best. I've been organizing a lot of stuff on the side. People who know me on TikTok know I got a lot going on, but I like to get on and tell people about, what's going on in the news for that day. Oftentimes I'll do it on different platforms, but I'm going to try and be more dedicated on this one to come every day. So if you can support, I appreciate it. Now, I'm going to get on to one of the last things that I'm going to talk about, dealing with this deficit and how the $2 trillion is never going to be done. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to tell you, or Donnie Downer, whatever you want to call it shit. I'm not trying to be that. I'm just trying to tell you the facts. Okay? Now, we witnessed what happened this past weekend with Republicans going, ape, what. And the reason why they're very mad, they're very hot right now, is because they're realizing Donald Trump lied to them. But they still want to give him a chance. So they're trying to figure out, like, hey, the conservative or Republican councilmen and senators and all stuff like that, you guys need to tell this man he's not a king. You guys need to stand up to him because we're trying to fight. This man is taking our jobs away. They're starting to understand that they effed up. And they're hoping things are going to be fixed. Donald Trump coming out with that 20% after all this stuff was happening was to quell them, to shut them up so that they stop talking. Oh, he's going to give me money. Okay, I'm going to shut up and let him do his thing. The promise is not possible. We already counted the numbers. It's not going to happen because there's no way to do it. Now, the reason why I tell you this $2 trillion is not going, exactly, being loco. The reason I tell you this $2 trillion is not going to happen. They're never going to get up to $2 trillion. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay? What just happened this weekend? They've been in there a month, I say, right? This weekend, they went upset. They were mad upset. Almost every one of them. They had at least 3 or 4 of them. Every one of them had, that I know at least 3 or 4 that I saw. every one of them had people in the audience, and they're Republicans going ape, you know what, like Benny Loco said. And I'm trying to stop cussing as much as too, because, you know, a lot of the followership and things of that nature, if I'm going to do this, I got to be as professional as possible, but I'm still going to cuss, but I'm cutting it down a little bit. And I'm also starting another platform where I don't cuss at all. So I'm trying to do that as well. But they went ape, you know what. And why? Because they're losing their jobs. The chaos is happening. They're losing their jobs. They're losing money. And they understand these government jobs. See, when I told you guys earlier in this conversation that when you have a government job, when we were kids, I'm 54. When we were kids, we were told the jobs that could have you set for life were going to the military and getting a job there, going in the government, get a job there, working at the big factory within the state, whether it be the post office or whether it be, you know, UPS or bread, Wonder Bread or whatever heck it may be, maybe it's steel, whatever it may be. That's how it was set up for Americans to be able to have a life, get into a union, work for a factory, and you're going to have a set life. That's when you could have one job and take care of a whole family of like 6, 8 kids. And the wife never had to work in that situation. If they wanted to, they could, but didn't have to. That stuff was a reality. It's no longer a reality. People got a full-time job. They work in Uber and they're selling T-shirts, hats, and coffee and mugs and shit on top of that. And then if you got it like that, some of y'all on OnlyFans. If people want to see you. You got all that to be able to make a living. Used to have one job. So you were a person who thought, oh, I just get into the government. It's a good job. It's guaranteed money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to bust my butt and I'm going to retire in government and get all these pensions and funds and blah, blah, blah. You was told and sold that for decades upon decades. Donald Trump comes in and he's destroying that American dream that people were told for decades and decades. They thought that these people, not all of them, because not all of them voted for Donald Trump, but they thought, the ones who did, that he was going to do it to the colored people. You know, Latin, people of color. And black folks. Not to me. You ain't going to do this to me. You're doing it to them. So, hey, cut away. And then when they find out, the first people he went after was the Latin people, to get them out of the country. When it started talking about jobs, the first people he went after, white people in the government. And they're like, whoa, you're the ones getting paid the most. You're the ones that if we cut, we save the most. And they're like, wait a minute, we didn't know you was coming after us. Did you not understand that you guys make more money than everybody? And if they cut you, they cut tens of thousands. They cut the lower. They got to cut millions to be able to make this money happen, right? So you're the first ones. The one who get paid the most are going to get kicked out. That's exactly what they've been talking about this entire time that they was going to do to you guys. And you didn't listen. They said this entire time they're coming after you. And you thought they was coming after brown and people of color and black folk. They said, you guys make too much money. It's wasteful spending. There are more white people in the government than any other race. If you're going to cut people, it's you that's getting cut. You make more money. These people who are working these farms and shit, they're making $10 an hour, $5 an hour, $3 a day. You think you're going to cut them out and somehow the economy's going to grow? You out your mind. Black people were telling y'all that, but y'all didn't want to listen. We didn't know what we were talking about. Now, I say you're not going to get to that 2.75 trillion because you remember when COVID hit, ladies and gentlemen, for some of my brothers and sisters in here, well, no matter what race you was in, or you are, a lot of people went ape, you know what again, when they were asked to wear a mask. I mean, outrageously crazy because of the fact that they had to wear a mask. Don't be stepping on my rights. Don't do this and don't do that. No, no, no. in stores now, destroying properties, right? Destroying properties everywhere. Glasses all over the place, tearing down bottles, destroying things on the ground like a petulant little child, throwing tantrums, slapping people. These Karens came out the woodwork telling people they couldn't sell bottled water anywhere. Little children can't be at a barbecue, couldn't do barbecue at a park because this, that, and the third. All of these things happened because these people were told that they couldn't do something. And it had nothing to do with their finances. These masks were often given for free. And if you wanted like an N95, yes, you had to buy it. But all the other ones were given for free. No matter where you go, you could get it for free. Yet they went apeshit over that, ladies and gentlemen. I said it. They went crazy over it. And why? Right? Why did they go crazy over it? Because reality is they felt like their rights were being trampled on. And in so doing, they lit up this whole country. Fought, went out, did outrageous things, called people out of their names, tried to get people unalived, everything under the sun, because they felt they had the right to do it. Because you're messing with their rights. Now ask yourself, when in any of this situation did you mess with these white people's money? You didn't. With COVID, you didn't mess with their money. They went apeshit because you messed with their rights to not wear a mask, to try and protect them. Heaven forbid. We want to save your life. To the point where they flipped out. You trying to save my life? You don't need to save my life. Oh, and die then. We was trying to help you. No. Didn't care about nobody but themselves. Now ask yourself now, when they've cut back $55 billion and these people are acting, let's say, less than sane, ask yourself a quick question. What percentage of 2 trillion is 55 billion? That's 2.75% of their goal. What just happened in these town halls with screaming and yelling and calling people names and being outright upset, not letting these people speak and calling Donald Trump no king. You guys need to fix this. Angry as I don't know what. So much that Donald Trump had to come out and add, I'll give you 20% just to shut you up. When you multiply this 2.75% times 2, 5.25%, they're going to be throwing tomatoes at these fools. Rocks, pellets. Get it up to 10%, they're going to have all kind of little paint guns, eggs. Even eggs cost a lot. They're still going to be throwing ostrich eggs at these people. You get it up to 50%, it will be purged out in them streets. These poor white people losing all their jobs. You talk about crime, shit. These people are going to be out here robbing everybody. They're going to try and unalive Trump and all his sycophants. They ain't going to let it get to 50%. Their lives are already being destroyed. 50%? Shit. These people will go apeshit. So that's why it's never going to get to 2 trillion. Because what they're doing right now, you can't guarantee nobody no $5,000 or $8,000. It ain't even possible. And even if you did, that ain't going to be enough for people who are going to lose their jobs. People like myself and others have been telling y'all, stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. When they say something, don't believe it until you go and check it. And if it's true, then congratulate yourself. Say, all right, I figured out they're all right. Now I can actually go for it. But if they tell you something that's going to tug at your heartstrings and make you feel a certain way, like, yeah, I'm down for that, research it. Check to see if it's even possible. That's what I did with that 5,000, 8,000 they was promising people. These fools getting on social media that are Trump lovers. See, you guys shouldn't get none of that money. You don't like Trump. You didn't vote for Trump. And look at you, fool. Divide the numbers. There's no way for you to make that kind of money based off what he's talking about. $2 trillion. You can't do that unless he gives you 50% of the $2 trillion. 50 to 60%, to be honest, because 50% is only 6,500 and something for the 153.8 million that pay into the tax system. And he's not talking about giving you 50% or 60%. So it can't be possible. But he's promising you something that you do no homework on. None. This is why the 2% is never, the 2 trillion is never going to happen. So you got to ask yourself, what is their game plan then? I'm going to tell you right now, if Republicans don't start changing course, meaning like the ones who are senators and Congress people, their voters are going to eat their young. And what I mean by that, these senators and congressmen and women who are Republicans, look out. Your enemy is going to be those people you call a friend of me. They're going to be the ones who are going to be like, wait a minute, my farm is lost. You said you're going to do better by me. This is happening. I don't have a job. You said you're going to do better by me. Eggs are going up. You said you're going to do better by me. Gas is astronomical. You said you're going to do better by me. What plan do you have? I don't. I had concepts. I told you. They're going to snap. They're going to snap. And people have been talking about this civil war and all this stuff like that. I'm going to tell you right now, the civil war is going to be between poor white people and rich white people. Because they're going to realize not only were they lied to, they were suckered. Not only did these people already know that it was impossible to happen, they're going to find out that they were sold a bill of goods and they lost everything just believing in this white supremacy ideology. Trust. Just check and see what they're going to do. I'm saying this right now to mark my words. I'm going to come back to this live video. I'm going to cut it and hopefully have this later on. But I'm going to tell you, I want to be wrong, but I'm promising you. I foresaw what they was going to do with Project 2025. I told people about it, and many of my colleagues and other content creators have said this over and over again. The ones who did the homework, who read Project 2025, who watched the videos of the people who made it, who looked at the documentaries from the people who were championing it, all the way to the churches and everything else and the organizations that funded it, to the people who funded it. We went through all that homework and we shared it with people. You who voted for him didn't listen, didn't care, obviously, and thought that Fox was telling you the truth. And they were lying to you. You can keep believing in the lie, but sooner or later, you're going to get harmed by it. You really are. I'm telling you right now, if you care about your family and your loved ones, you need to start fighting like hell against this, the way they're doing it. I am for cutting back, but I'm for doing it sensibly, not idiotically. I don't work in the government, but I own businesses throughout my life. And I know that you cannot cut stuff without understanding what those things are connected to. In a business, things are like tentacles. They are like veins, more likely. You can't, if a vein doesn't have anything running through it, you can cut that. But if it's got blood running through it, you better understand what the hell you cutting before you cut it. And the government was filled with veins that are interconnected, intertwined. And these fools are just cutting willy-nilly and coming out and saying, oops, my bad. There is no not my bad when it kills off something. It's already gone. You wouldn't want your surgeon saying, my bad. Boop. Do you want that? No, you don't. So why would you accept somebody cutting government like crazy, but not understanding what they're cutting and having to go back and spend money rehiring people? You think those people are going to come back at the same rate they left at? They know how much you need them now. They were making 200,000 before. They making 500,000 now. Cause you need me. Ain't nobody trained in what I do with nuclear shit, man. It ain't like no everyday job. It ain't like you can pull somebody from Burger King to go watch a nuke. Whatever they were making before, they're making double now. And if they smart, triple. You can't replace me that simple. I told you, but your dumb ass did it. And you best believe if they got them to come back, they making twice as much. Or more than what they're making before. They ain't coming back at the same rate. Are you insane? I guarantee you the position they were in, they deserved a raise and probably hadn't got one in years. Now you let me go, oh, the raise shall commence. If I was making 360, I'm making 420 now, baby. That was a better move to fire them and rehire them at a higher rate. It's insane, yo. It's insane. Like Coco Slayer says, you always assess risk. Always assess risk. That is such a smart thing to say. Thank you for saying that. You have always got to assess your risk. They did not assess. They just went in and just started bulldozing the place. And they had no idea what they were doing. And who's going to pay for that? The American people. The mistakes they made cost more than many of the people that they let go. I am tired of mediocre, racist white men being in positions of power, having no skill or trade that allows them to be in a position. Pete Hegseth is not capable of doing that job. I guarantee you he's relying on everybody else in that building to tell him how to turn on the lights, how to walk straight after drinking. I mean, come on. This man was at a podium drinking brown liquor, flubbing his words. He here, Ned the Wino, got a position of power. If that doesn't show you this country is full of racism, I don't know what does. You got a man that's not qualified talking about we want to have a merit system. How you start a merit system with a meritless man? Insane, people. Insane. Exactly, Jorge. We owe all this to racism. Without racism, there'd be no Trump. I keep telling people that. Like I said, not all Republicans may be racist, but you believe in racist ideologies. Because in order for you to believe a white man who's a criminal is better than somebody else, like a Biden, so to speak, who's a Christian. You try to make Biden a criminal so that you can justify bringing Trump in as a criminal. Never proved a thing for Biden. And because of that, you want it so bad that Trump does not have this label of a criminal through the courts. That you got Supreme Court justices saying that one human being is not responsible for his actions as he is the most powerful human being. When in history, in American history, did we crown a king? We left that shit. We fought and died for that shit. The Europeans fought and died to get away from that. And now they want to go back to it. Why is that, you think? Could it be that they recognize that they're mediocre and that there are many people out here that are better than them that don't look like them? Could it be that black women became the most educated people in America, and now they've got to switch education from being in power to race being in power? Because if you dealt with the higher educated, then you would hire more black women. When you go toward that pool of people, if they're the most educated in America, it would seem They work themselves up the ladder. Therefore, they have the merit to get the positions because they spent the thousands upon thousands of dollars to be educated enough to be ready when hired. That's what we were taught in this country. Get your education, get careers. Without an education, you just got jobs. But people are getting careers that are white that have no education for the job now, and have been for a while, but it's become so strong and out in the open since black women became the most powerful as far as education. They worked hard to get that moniker because people have been calling them stupid forever. And now they got the moniker of the most educated in the United States. All of a sudden, education don't matter. Let's get rid of education. These black people are getting too smart. Let's just say no education no more. Who's down with me? Who's coming with me? Ignorance is the new smart. Who's with me? Dumb white people. Who's with me? Who's with it? We're smart now. We don't need no education. We're just going to be smart because we're white men. That's what it is. We ain't got to go to school. Oh, shit. We did say that school and education mattered. Damn. Okay. All right. Merit. Let's just don't let them know that merit means white. Like we're too stupid to know that they mean merit means white. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene running the House or whatever it is that she's in now. Unless it's just sitting there, I can't remember because I ain't watched them in a while. But she's the head of one meeting that they have. This woman's dumb as a rock. You remember she came in saying some of the, well, what are you doing with this right here? There's no such thing. Well, it's right here in this. That's not a real thing. Okay. Next. That is leading something. Looking like Ric Flair in a dress. That is leading something. It's insane. We have moved away from intellect leading. I consider myself a smart guy, not a genius. I look up to those who are smarter than me. Those who put in the work and got their masters and their doctorates and, learned about their craft and became pros in it, no matter what it is. Those who have played basketball their entire lives and got into the NBA and became the best player or number one or number two on their team. I look up to that. Because those people put in the hours and the work to get to that level. What you're seeing are lazy people who are trying to rely on their race to push them towards something as opposed to busting their ass and earning it. And they want to call it merit when it's meritless. None of the people that Donald Trump has hired has a resume for the job. Even Cash does not have the resume for the job. He literally worked in a department as a second in chair or whatever. He has more than Pete Hegseth, but still not enough to lead anybody. He can probably come in as an assistant and get some years under his belt, but no. Let's let him lead the entire thing, yet though he's never worked in the FBI. This country of racist white men trying to get power just upon their race realizes that they're not supreme. So they got to force it. We got to put us in power and make it look like we're smart. We don't have to work to get there. We're just going to get there just because we're white. That's sad. We're not going to become a country that cares about its people when we're trying to push ourselves ahead based on the colors of our skin and not the content of our character. not the skill and trade that we bust our ass to be good and great at. When you start promoting the village idiot because he has the right color of skin, we got a problem with a country ever evolving to where, or at least to what it can be. That's why you have core groups of people, Black, Latin, Asian, creating their own little things because they're getting tired of relying on people who say they're down for you, but not really. People who know that their uncles and aunts are racist, but do nothing about it, but just say, hey, I'm going to vote this way. They're going to do their thing. Don't educate them. Don't do nothing. Just let it be. If it was cancer, you're basically saying, I'm not going to give it anything. I'm not going to try and medicate it. I'm just going to see if the cancer going to die on its own. And you know it's not. But as long as it's not affecting you, and it ain't messing with my day-to-day life, I'm going to let that cancer grow until it starts messing with your life, which is happening for these Republicans. It's starting to mess with their life. The cancer's starting to metastasize and grow into the white people's world. And you're seeing white people being treated like black people at these damn functions, dragging them out by their feet and hair. When's the last time you seen a white woman get dragged out like that white woman did? I ain't seen that shit in forever. I can't really tell you the last time I remember seeing a white woman attending a function and being dragged out like black people get dragged out of places. It's going to be enough of that. Trust and believe. Keep doing it to white women. These white men are going to have to stand up for their woman, or they're going to be in love with their left or right hand in lotion. And when that gets to the fact, you're going to see all kinds of shit break out. They're going to start accepting, trans ain't that bad. Of course not, because ain't no woman want to be with your ass no more. You'll find it wherever you can get it. Let them keep acting a fool. Let them do it. And you'll see these white women ain't going to take this shit. They're going to learn that now they're the face of rich white people or even misogynist white men's pain. See, before, white women could sit back in the cut and allow black people to be the bane in the existence of white supremacy. But when you start to see white women, what can you say now? What can you say now when you start to see white women being treated like black women? Thrown out of places, beaten up, slapped, thrown on the ground, treated like trash. They ain't gonna take that shit for too long. They'll be like, wait a minute, white women getting treated like this? Then they'll wake up. You need to keep playing that video of that white woman getting thrown around and trashed around because she has a difference of opinion than these people. Watch and see. Play that shit over and over again. See how white women feel when they start to get treated, when they just have something to say against white men that are empowered. Now, I don't know all the details of what she did, but I know this. She didn't deserve to be treated like that. She had a right to be at the town hall meetings like anybody else. But that wasn't a black woman. That wasn't a Latin woman. That was a white woman. Keep doing it, white men. Keep doing it. These white women are by your side. Ride or die, it seems. When they start to see that the pain is at their doorstep and they start seeing that in the news where white women are getting thrown around and trashed around, their hair pulled out by white men, groups of white men, keep it up. That shit on the news, that become the majority of the news. Oh, yes, sir. These white women will leave y'all ass in a heartbeat. And y'all lose everything from then on. You better start doing right by your women. And that means stop fucking with their vote. Stop messing with their bodies. They haven't fully gotten there yet. But these Republicans are starting to get shitty. And things are going to change. Just let them keep fighting, black people, Latin people. Let them keep fighting that fight. Let them lead it so you can see in the news, just like Martin Luther King did. The way things changed with Martin Luther King was that you saw black men, women, and children being chased, beaten, and the media showed us getting our ass kicked, just wearing our Sunday's best and trying to get a piece of pie or walk over a bridge. We did nothing. The rest of the world saw that American white men and people were the savages and not the black people. That's how it changed. Let the world see white men beating the hell out of white women just because they have a difference of opinion, and see how the world reacts to that shit. Yeah, white men are gonna be forced to change, or find, like I said, be in love with their left and right hand and whatever lotion of choice. Let them feel the pain. That's what I'm doing, sitting back, letting them fight it out. Keep going toward that $2 trillion. You're going to see white people going apeshit. The ones who voted for them are going to go cray-cray. Because the pain is real. I don't wish nothing on these people getting in these pain that they're in. I just want them to feel the wrath of their decisions. Your decision puts you in this. Don't ask anybody who tried to save you now. Save yourself, and we'll be there to get the spoils like you did with us. See, we was always in front, and when we won, white people benefited more than we did. Now it's time for y'all to be in front. And you guys going to still benefit more than us when you win, but at least we get something. We'll get something out of it. But we won't be the leader of it, and we won't be the bane in white men's existence. You will. Which they should have been to begin with. You are the ones who raised these fools. They came out of you. And you're letting them run you when you're the one. You're the queen. These ain't nothing but princes. And you're allowing these princes to run your queendom. Once you find out your true power, things will change. But the longer you keep on acting submissive to these people who are trying to destroy every right that you fought and died for, and your ancestors have fought and died for, you keep on giving in to them. You give everything that they fought for away. So you didn't think that you had to fight for anything. You've been letting your men fight your fight. And thinking that black people, oh, we just blame them. We'll just blame them. We'll blame them. Because nobody's looking at you. Eyes are on you now. And this fight is in your hands. If you win or lose, it's your face and your likeness that's going to have to beat these racist, sexist, misogynist white men. And black men and Latin men too. But they're not the ones in power. Those people who are like that are white, the ones in power. These other ones are just trying to assimilate with them so they can have some sense of power, because otherwise they're like meritless. They find no value in their own culture. They find only value in white culture. And the closer they get to it, the more important they feel. Not realizing that once these people chew them up and spit them out, they'll come running back to their culture. Look what they did to me. And I think black people and other people of culture are tired of it. Their uncles and aunts who come back and say, I'm getting deported. Too bad, sucker. You voted for it. Peace. Love you. I'll come visit. But peace. Make your decisions. Make that bed. Lie in it. All right. We didn't necessarily reach our chat goals. Top chat. We did get 2 people that actually, I think 2 people who donated, or 3 in the process. It's okay. Next time, if our chat, we get it to the, and this is my first time implementing it because I'm like monetizing this all. I've been doing it, here and there, not really asking, but I thank you for being here. I need people to subscribe to the channel, become members. I'm gonna start doing extra stuff for members. In the chats, when we start to reach our goals, I'll start doing special things in the actual lives. Like I'll stop down and have a Q&A session with y'all. And other times, at each goal, I'll start adding stuff to it. The next goal after that, I think, is going to be creating content based upon what's the consensus amongst those who have actually donated in the chat. And, put it in there like, what do you want me to talk about? What topic do you want me to cover that you want to know the facts about, that you may even know the facts about, but you want me to dive a little bit deeper? And I'll cover that. I'll make a video about it and tag your name at the end of it, or the people, if we have 10 people that donated like 5 or 10, whatever the goal is, I'll have your names at the end of it, giving you support for that, or credit for that topic that I covered, that I did the research on and brought out the facts. The main thing I want to do is be able to give content and talk about content and research content that my people care about. I don't want to give you information that you never give a damn about. It's not worth my time or your own. So when I get into that situation, I'm gonna do my best to be there for you guys and cover the topics in which you guys care about the most, and we'll do it that way. That way, you always benefit from what we're doing, and it's always a give and take. I'll come up with other things for like chat, competitions or whatever it may be as I add on to it. I'm a busy person like everybody else, but when I get up here and do Mr. Straight Facts, I really just want to give you guys facts so that you know what is going on. I want to break down the lies and the impossibilities of things that people are telling us so that people can get themselves out of this mist of lies and start searching for truth. And facts, they're going to hurt sometimes. Facts aren't built to make you feel better. They're built to make you understand how life works. And therefore you can learn how. You can't solve a problem if you don't know the facts of the problem. You're out there trying to, like with Donald Trump and all them and Doge, let's just say, they're out there trying to cut money, but they don't know where the problems are. They just see a large amount of money going to one department and say, oh, we can cut that in half. No, you can't. You don't know what each department does and what it's attached to. And if you don't do that homework, you shouldn't be in the position that you're in. It's just that simple. And that's what, I do. And I try to do for others. You're welcome, Cass, Panak. I appreciate you. You have a good night. Thank you, Benny Loco. Here in the house, Straight Facts. I appreciate you. Thanks. I'm going to go in here real quick for those who donated in the chat throughout the whole process. I appreciate you. Much love to you. Benny Loco came in. Big. I appreciate you. Fafa Flipper. Appreciate you. Kaz Pincheck. I appreciate you as well. Jen James came in. Keep on keeping on, beautiful people. I got to bounce. They had to live, but they had to leave, but they came in and shared love. And I appreciate all of you guys. Without you, I can't do this. It takes a lot of time. It takes money. And I appreciate you guys supporting me and being a part of Straight Facts, No Chaser. Follow me, or subscribe to me here, rather. Subscribe to me. Become a member if you can. And if not, please continue to donate. I haven't put any cash apps up, but I'll put that stuff up later. The more we're supported, the more we can come out with facts and do this more often on a regular schedule. Like I said, I'm going to try and do this every night at 5 p.m. And so give you an understanding of it. Now, as I develop more, I'll start promoting it so you'll get to see 5 p.m. It's going to come on 5 p.m., 5 p.m. So we're going to do our best to be as consistent at the very beginning, but bear with me. I'm in the process of doing a lot of things, and I don't want to fail you guys in that process. So I will be back here. Actually, let's see. Tomorrow I should be here at 5, maybe a shorter show. My child is moving to Washington, Seattle, Washington, my oldest, and I need to hang out and we're going to go out to eat and do things like that. So I'll probably be here from 5 to maybe 6:30, something like that, 7. So I'll try and be more concise, less hours. But I'll be here for you guys to be able to, cut through a lot of the trash that they're talking about. And we reach those goals. I'll do the stop down and answer some of your questions and things of that nature. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. This has been Mr. Straight Facts Show. And I'll start changing some of the monikers and stuff like that because it was Straight Facts, No Chaser. I don't think I'm going to change it to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I'm always, Straight Facts, No Chaser. F your feelings. That's me. So you guys have a great evening. I'll see some of you guys tomorrow. I'm also live on TikTok. You can see me on Mr. Straight Facts on TikTok. You hear me? You have me here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram at I think it's like straight_facts, no chaser. So you can find me there. Much love to you guys. You guys have a great evening, and we'll be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow, Pacific Standard Time, doing the same thing, speaking nothing but facts, not caring about feelings, only facts. That way you can make a better decision on how to move in life when you know the facts and the parameters they're in. All right. You guys stay safe. Much love to you. I'll talk to you guys. Talk to you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. Take care.